Good evening, Ms. McGinnis, Ms. Rizzo, Mr. Wagner, Ms. Green, Mr. Romano, faculty, staff, parents, families, and the class of 2026. When I was told I was salutatorian, I was immediately tasked with writing a speech. I would say I started writing it right away, but I'd be lying. I procrastinated like I did every other assignment throughout high school. It was only after Ms. McGinnis's encouragement in front of everyone at graduation practice when I actually began to write it. So I think it's only right to start by thanking her for finally getting me back on task. And while I'm at it, I'd like to thank everyone else. Thank you to our parents and guardians, especially mine, who raised us, paid our tuition, and supported us throughout high school. Thank you to our faculty and staff who taught us for countless hours and challenged us to become better students. And thank you to my fellow classmates for all the memories and the meaning you brought throughout these last 4 years. When I finally started writing, I learned very quickly that it's almost impossible to talk at a graduation without sounding at least a little cliche. And unfortunately, I'm about to prove my own point immediately by saying the most cliche thing possible. Time really does fly. 2 years ago today, I was sitting in the same arena watching my brother Chris graduate. And now he's sitting in the stands over there watching me about to go into his junior year of college. Looking back on it now, the time between then and now feels incredibly short. And somehow, some way, the 4 years that we all spent together feels even shorter. But the strange thing about time is that while you're living through it, it rarely feels fast. Freshman year felt long, waiting for summer felt long, and waiting to finally become seniors felt long. We spent so much time waiting for things to happen that none of us really stopped to think about how quickly all of it would eventually pass us by. And now suddenly, we find ourselves here with nothing else left to wait for. One of the last things we did have to wait for was for our last day to end. Just before 2:40, I was sitting in the gym waiting for our final high school bell to ring. On any other school day, I would be purely excited for the school day to end. But while part of me was excited, this time that excitement was mixed with sadness. Because while there are definitely parts of high school I'm happy to leave behind, like the assignments, the tests, waking up early every morning, I realized that most of the things ending were actually the things I wished weren't. I would never again walk into school and hear Ephraim say good morning as I scanned my ID. I would never again watch Ms. Johnson bolt out of her office into the cafeteria to yell at someone. And I would never again show up to school knowing I would be surrounded by people who truly felt like family. I remember at the open houses and orientations before I was even a student here, one of the biggest things that was always talked about was a sense of family at this school. If I'm being completely honest, when it was first mentioned, I didn't really buy into it. I thought it was something they were saying to convince us to go here. I thought about, but as the days turned into months, and the months turned into years, I started to understand exactly what they meant. Because after enough time, the people you share memories with, laugh with, lean on during difficult moments, and slowly grow alongside, truly become your family. We literally watched James Leahy grow from 4'11" to 5'10". Seriously though, whether that growth be literal or not, going through it all together is what ultimately made us family. At larger schools, it's easy to disappear into the crowd, but in a small school like ours, that's impossible. One of the things I appreciate the most is that when I look out at the people graduating in front of me, I know every single person's name. And I know everyone here knows my name because they announced it as I walked up here. All jokes aside, I think the close-knit nature of our school is something we took for granted. When you spend 4 years around the same people every single day, it starts to feel permanent. You assume there will always be another lunch period, another class, another ordinary school day, and you never really stop to think about the fact that one day, those moments will happen for the last time. For years, this place had been such a consistent part of our lives that it was hard to imagine actually ending, and now, all at once, it's over. The thing about family, though, is that distance, time, and and change don't stop it from being family. Even though we won't walk through the halls together anymore, the relationships and memories we build don't suddenly disappear because we graduated. And while tonight marks the end of this chapter of our lives, I think a part of us will always remain connected to St. Edmund's and the people sitting around us tonight. And for that, I think we are all incredibly lucky. Congratulations to the class of 2026.